Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing great, right? And that everybody's safe out there with their family, their loved one in this COVID time, right? Pretty proud of myself today, let me tell you, because this is 2 weekend in a row that I'm releasing YouTube videos. So much props to myself. I'm proud. Thank you, thank you. So what's going on today? So today, what I decided to do, basically, I was, trolling the internet again, looking for some interesting stuff, right? And what was picking my mind at the time was the UFC 270, because obviously, like everybody else in the UFC world, whether you are casual or hardcore, right? You definitely are interested into that fight that is putting together in UFC 270, Ngannou vs Gan, right? But looking at the card itself, right, I was starting to look a little bit broader in general at the fight card itself, right, including all of the different fight to see if there was some fight that could, interest me, people that I knew and that I knew that, oh, maybe this fight would be interesting, right? So I started to look at the card itself and I realized that apart from Brandon Moreno and Figueroa, there wasn't much there in that card, right? That was a pretty poor card, in my opinion, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, that was a pretty poor card. So basically, yeah, starting to check about the other card as well, and so in my opinion, again, like I'm saying, some kind of disparity in there. So that's why I decided to release this little YouTube video with this title: UFC 270 card, Ngannou vs Gan, negligence or disrespect. Right. So, to be honest with you, what's going through this card here is this fight is going to happen on January 22nd, 10 p.m. Big dudes, 6'4", both of them, and bunch of muscle to carry all that height and that weight. 260 pounds. I would say for Francis Ngannou, that is maybe going to come, let's say, at around 255. I would say 250, 55. I would say Cyril Gane would come about at the same weight. Other than that, or maybe 5 pounds lighter. I would say 45 to 50, right? But they're going to be about the same weight. So, this being said, this apart, we were talking about the card, the fight card. So I was going down the fight card, right? And the first thing that caught my attention, to be honest with you, was the two C's, right? I mean, to be honest with you, again, Francis Ngannou is the actual champion. He hasn't been demoted. He hasn't been ripped of his title. So he's the actual real champion. I don't see why there should be two C's in front of both their names, right? And if we want to qualify Cyril Gane as what he is, then currently he's the interim champion. So in front of his name, they should put IC for interim champion, right? I mean, just makes sense to me. I mean, it's kind of an insult to the real champion that Francis Ngannou is, right? Makes sense? I think it makes sense. Yeah. Leave it as that. And then after that, then you go down. Obviously, you got this fight, Brandon Moreno against David Figueredo. And again, like I'm telling you, man, I mean, this fight itself is a great fight. This is a great fight in the sense that these two guys have already fought 2 times before that I remember of. And it's always been wars. It's always been great fight. And I love Brandon Moreno. It's true. But to tell you the truth, I mean, I don't think that this is the biggest draw when you're talking about fight. That you're going to say, wow, man, Brandon Moreno against Figueroa, I cannot miss that. To be honest with you, I could miss it and I wouldn't be crying. So yeah, so we go down. They're known, and they're gonna put out a good show. I'm pretty sure, right? And so I'm gonna leave it as that for now, right? Maybe later on we're gonna come back to this fight, especially when we compare it to the other UFC event that happened in the past, right? Then if you go down now, the third fight, you got Jared Cannonier and Derek Brunson. I mean, obviously, I know about Jared Cannonier and I know about Derek Brunson, but again, like the second fight, they're not the biggest draw in the UFC, right? I don't think that you can sell a card, right, by putting Jared Cannonier and Derek Brunson, right? Example, even in the co-main event. That's, again, my personal opinion, right? So you got Jared Cannonier. Then when you go down even more, I mean, most of them, I don't know them, right? And other than that, no. And the one that you know against are not the biggest draw. You got Greg Hardy, you got Alexei Olenek. I mean, that one is past his prime, and the other one is, it's taking a long time for him to come around, right? So not that exciting as well, even though they're trying to push him, but it does not deliver currently as a heavyweight, right? So not the biggest draw as well. And when you go down to Mike Frivola or Gennaro Valdez, Rodolfo Vieira, I don't really know these guys, to be honest with you. Maybe because you can qualify me as a casual. I don't really mind. The fact of the matter is that I don't know these guys. And to me, when I look at this card, this looked like a pretty weak card, right? Except for the main event and arguably for the co-main event, right? So now I'm going to, I would say, yeah, maybe that's what I think, but hey, maybe you're a casual, so you don't know better. You don't know better. So what I try to do is a little bit of exercise, and I try to compare it to some other cards, right? And I started at UFC 66, and when you look at the UFC 66 card, I mean, Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega definitely can make a main event. I mean, Brian Ortega, everybody knows him, very slick, a jiu-jitsu king. I mean, a submission master, right? Everybody, and a heart of a lion. I mean, those who have seen his fight against, oh man, we took a beating. I don't know if it was Max Holloway, but he took a real beating in that fight, but was still in there, right? He was fighting it out, right? He's got the heart of a lion, on top of being a submission master, right? And Alexander Volkanovski, I mean, no introduction, right? Alexander Volkanovski, just a killer, right? He looks like an assassin, and I think that's what he is, right? So definitely, again, a main event here in UFC 266 that sells, right? And what do you have as a co-main event? I mean, as a co-main event, you might have had actually a main event. So here in this card, 266, right? You basically have two main events, right? I gotta say, Valentina Shevchenko, I mean, sells it her by herself. Regardless of who she's going to fight, she's going to put people in those seats. I guarantee you. There's no mistaking there, right? And then you go down the card and you see Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. Let's be honest with you. I mean, this fight sells, right? I mean, even if those guys are past their prime, I mean, the story is there that Robbie Lawler, he has to take his revenge for his whipping that happened sometime. It's been some time. And where Nick Diaz was bragging all about it. So that fight again was interesting. What do you have? You have Curtis Blades and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. This could have been actually a main event. Come on. And this could have been also a co-main event when we're talking about it. So really, to be honest with you, right, those four fights, right, you could have had two main events here with Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. You could have had Valentina Shevchenko and Lauren Murphy here as main event. And co-main event, you could have had actually those two more fights, Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. I'm gonna stay a little bit quiet about Jessica Andrade and Cindy Calvillo, because Jessica Andrade, everybody knows her. Everybody knows her, and she's tough. She's already been a champion. She's beaten champions as well. So this is very high level card, high quality card. The one from 266, to be honest with you. And that shows, and then for me, that's respect. That's respect for the fans, and that's respect for the fighters that are there. And that provides them, that gives them their status, in my opinion, again, right? So I said, okay, maybe that's just one card that you just check, right? You just check 266. Go again and try to see what's going on, what you may find. So I'm going to UFC 267, Blachowicz and Teixeira, and what do I see? I mean, Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira. To be honest with you, in terms of main event, it is a main event technically. Right, it is a main event, but when you're talking about draw in the UFC, that's not the best draw. Actually, I would say that Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen would be a fight that I'd rather see more than the fight between Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira. Although we had a big major surprise right there that made things even more interesting. So yeah, you have a main event there. Okay, technically that should be, because it's a championship fight. It was a championship fight. So, and here you go down, and what do you see? You see Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen, but you're smiling, you're happy. You know that the night is going to be a good night. At least it's going to end well, because the best fight are at the end, right? I mean, the main event fights are at the end, so you know that you're gonna have a good fight here. You know that something may happen here, right? I mean, Jan Blachowicz is not a pushover. Neither is Glover Teixeira, right? So here you go down, you see Dan Hooker, you're happy. You see Islam Makhachev, you're still happy, because you know he's a strong upcoming superstar in this division, right? And people are interested to see his evolution, how he's going to evolve, if he's able to to take on like better and bigger opposition, right, with more experienced opposition. And Dan Hooker is the perfect opposition for that, the perfect measure for that. So again, an interesting fight for Alexander Volkov. Who doesn't like to see Alexander Volkov against Maxime Tibura? But again, this fight, I would say that's not the greatest draw as well. I mean, Alexander Volkov is always interesting to see, but that's not the guy I would wake up or wait like until midnight to see fight, right? Let's keep it real. Jane Yangling and and Khamzat Chimaev. Again, Khamzat Chimaev, everybody wants to see him fight. I mean, he's got so many promises, whether you're talking about striking, standing up, you're talking about wrestling, submission, ground and pound, ground game in general. I mean, that's the name, that's one of the names that is coming in mind, right? When you're talking about well-rounded and upcoming possible champion in the UFC in that division, Khamzat Chimaev. And again, on social media, as you can see, he's making a tremendous amount of noise. So again, a fight that is interesting to see, right? And you got Magomedov and Kaliyev and Volkan Ozdemir, right? Volkan Ozdemir, who's the old lion, right? Who used to be there, very much experienced, known as well. And you got Magomed and Galev, who is also in his right mind a potential threat in this division. So again, a card where you don't have most of the people that are known. I mean, you got some good cards from 1 to 3. You got some good fights, and from here, from 4 to let me count, because from 4 to 6, right? Yeah, I got it right. Let me see, guys. We're doing it. We're doing this live. All right, we're doing this live. 4, 5, 6. Really? Yeah, okay, right? So that's what we got from 1 to 3, and from from 4 to 6, right? So we got some good fight as well, and I mean good fights, putting together like some people that are new and that are upcoming talent that can really be a threat and that are already making noise. So that's what this fight is interesting in there. And like I said, the co-main event itself with Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen. also pays the price of the ticket, to be honest with you. To see Islam Makhachev against Dan Hooker pays the price as well, because this guy, we want to know where, up to where he can go, right? You're talking about this one as well is interesting to see Magomed Ankalaev and see if he's at the level already to go to the next step by being tested against Volkan Ozdemir, right? I mean, this is a fair and honest card. This is not the best card either, but this is a fair and honest card, let's say, right? But let's be honest, right? If I was to tell you which card I like the most, especially if I take out, let's see, let's make that exercise. If I take out this fight, then I just leave Brandon Moreno, okay. Sherry Cannonier and Derek Bronson, really, to be honest. To be honest with you, I'm honest, I will be taking this card. Let's remove the two. I will be taking Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, right, over Brandon Moreno and Figueroa, to be honest. Yeah, and the other fights, definitely. So let's go now to 268. 268 is a killer, right? 268 is a killer. I don't even know if I need to talk about 268. Because 268, you already have Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington. Forget it. I mean, the deal is already sealed. My behind, my ass is on that seat. For real. It sells itself, right? I mean, you can see the story behind it. It sells itself, right? Rosemary Namajunas, Zhang, Weili. I mean, this is also a main event fight. This is not even a co-main event fight. Here, right here, like in 266, right? You have two main event fights. You got Frankie Edgar and Marlon Vera after that are coming, you know, to put their feud in there as well. And then you got Chen Burgos and Billy Quarantillo, who are two fair fighters, not the greatest draw in the UFC either, but two good fighters, right? And then you got Justin Gage and Mike and Chandler. Again, this can be basically a main event as well. So you got basically three main event here, right? And all of the other ones could be co-main event, maybe apart from Chen Burgos and Billy Quarantillo, right? But again, you can see the quality of the card. That card here is a steal. I mean, I don't know at what price they sold it, right? Or do I? Let's be real. Not too real though. So here you got a card all of the fights except you got three fights that could have been main event and one that could have been co-main event here, right? But I'm going to be honest with you. Frankie Edgar and Marlon Vieira co-main event, I'm not sure. So you got three that could have been main event and co-main event at the same time, and you got two that are fair to put in the main card. So again, you can see the difference here. And if we look into 269 now, right? I'm going to look into 269. Oliveira against Poirier. What do we have, right? Oliveira. Who doesn't want to see this? Really, I'm going to ask you, who doesn't want to see this fight here? Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. Who doesn't want to see this fight? Everybody wants to see this fight. So again, that main event is a main event that is really a main event, technically, like stylistically, like the expectation that we have about on that fight. Definitely one of the expected fight, right? And definitely a rightful main event by itself. Now you go down and you see Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. You are happy, my friend. You are in heaven. Not only are they, I would say, pretty, right? But they can throw hands. Definitely, these girls can duke it out, right? Harder than man, and we have seen that with Amanda Nunes against Cyborg, against Ronda Rousey. That was a massacre against Ronda Rousey, against all the opponents that she's faced. She's just too strong. And we got Jenia Pena, that thing, she can disrupt you know, the hegemony. She can disrupt the hierarchy of these female divisions. So it's going to. This is a great fight. I mean, I want to see this fight. If you ask me, I want to see this fight. Yes, yes, and yes again. And you got Jeff Neal, who's always popular, and Santiago Ponzinibbio, who is going to do it as well. So I'm always interested to see Jeff Neal fight, right? I haven't seen him that much, to be honest with you, but the time that I've seen him, I think that he has a certain style. I don't know what potential he has to go up to the top, right? But always an interesting fighter to see, right? And then you got what? Kai Kara France against Gutty Garbrandt. So I mean, sit down and just, you know, don't even blink, and don't go take out some popcorns. You got some good guys here. Cody Garbrandt, obviously, always a chin that is questionable, right? But always willing though, right? A fighter, right? And you got Kai Kara France coming up with his technique, his grit, his well-roundedness. So let's see what they're gonna bring. So these are interesting fighters to see fight, right? And this is an interesting card. And who you got? I mean, you got Sugar Shane, is coming in with his Sugar Show. So you know you're going to be entertained for sure, right? Look at the color of his hairs, right? That's amazing, right? So Sugar Shane is coming to town. Always interested. Everybody always wants to know how he's going to predict he's going to dispose of his opponent. Always, obviously, in a flashy manner, preferably. So yeah, another interesting card. So basically, now let's come back to this card here. Let's be honest with you. Let's be honest. The two interesting fights are these two. And I'm going to say, yeah, this is a legit interesting fight. And obviously it could have been a low-level main event, actually. So yeah, I'm going to give this fight, Brandon Moreno and David Figueroa, hits props, because I'm sure it's going to be a good one. I don't know if Figueroa is going to be able to take Brandon Moreno hit punches a lot longer than he did the last time, right? Maybe because of brain memory, right? But definitely an interesting fight, and you know it's going to be a war. But when you look at the rest, to be honest with you, I don't see the type of wow that I see when I see Valentina Shevchenko includes, Nate Diaz included, Curtis Blaze against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I don't have the same type of excitement that when I see, I don't know, Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira, Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Islam Makhachev, and Dan Hooker, even Alexander Volkov. I still have that little thing that, yeah, a little bit less than 266, 68, and 69, but I still have that interest. Peter Yan, I want to see this guy fight for sure. Jan Blachowicz, I want to see it's a championship fight. I want to see who's going to if there's going to be a new champion, or it's going to be Ant Steele, Jan Blachowicz, right? Alexander Volkov, again, always interested to fight. But again, this fight, like this one, Jangli, this one I'm interested, but this one more or less, right? Alexander Volkov is not a guy that maybe that we see in future that he's going to be a champion. He's a test, really, to be honest with you. So it's a fight that could be interesting sometimes, right? When you're hungry, right? You eat. But other than that, you don't get up. You don't get up to see that fight, right? And that's my opinion. Sorry. And again, after that, you got Megadef and Galev. Yeah, I would have liked to go come see this fight. Again, I think this fight is better than the other one. And here, forget it. Look at this. You're blessed here. I mean, you're spoiled. Kamaru Usman, you got the Rose Magallanes, and here you got the total package. You got the two guys, the two opposition that are very strong. So championship fight again, both of them. You got two here. Man, you couldn't be more happy. So these two could have been main event, both of them here. Again, this two could have been the main card, that's okay, and this one as well could have been main event. So you're happy. This is a strong card as well, right? And you go into 269. 269 is the killer as well. I mean, you got two here that are totally devastator. Man, look at Dustin Poirier is ready he's gonna give his best shot. He's going to give it his best shot. You got Amanda Nunez, you got Jeff Neal, Kai Kara France, and you got your own Sugar Shane that is actually starting the show here. So again, I want to know. I don't know about you guys, but that's my opinion here. That's my opinion, and I mean I'm comfortable with it. But I think that, quite frankly, I don't know if it's negligence or disrespect from the UFC, and that's what I think. I think that this card to me doesn't show any respect to the champion that we have here, to the magnitude of this fight, because this is a big fight. To be honest, this is a big fight with a big backstory, pushing it behind, right? And to have, I know that the quantities, I mean, you have, and I don't know if it's not divided into, main event and prelim, because I'm not sure that the main card has all of these fights, right? I don't think so. So, what I'm going to say is that currently, right now, this is not an exciting fight. Just the main event really is exciting. I mean, Brandon Moreno, again, like I'm saying, this is legit, but I mean, yeah, it's still interesting. So you have two cards, two fights that are interesting. The rest, to be honest, they're not that exciting. So this is not a great card, in my opinion, right? And especially when you compare it to the other cards, right? The 268, 270, 267, 68, and 69, you could basically see the difference. You got great fights. From top to bottom. And here, I think that the fights quality are getting like weaker, lower and lower once you're fast. The second fight, the co-main event, basically, right? So that's my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think. I think that the UFC basically, in my opinion, should show a little bit more respect to these two fighters, and to the magnitude of the fight, because I think that currently, right, in the UFC world, if there's a fight that anybody wants to see, it's this fight. If there's the fight that anybody wants to see, it's this fight. If you ask me okay, which fight do you want to see between this fight and the one Dustin Poirier and who's Charles Oliveira, I'm going to be real and I'm going to be honest with you. I want to see this fight, right? And the backstory about the coaches, about the sparring and all that stuff is just amazing, and gives even more value and hype this fight even more, right? Gives even more meaning to this fight. So again, I don't understand why we have to ask ourselves some question about the quality of this card, right? That it should be obvious to me that great fights should be put together in this fight card because of the magnitude of the fight and the attraction of the main event fight between Francis the Predator Ngannou and Cyril Gane. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. I'll be really interested to see what you think. Do you think that this is a great card, and then that the UFC has done its job, and that we're going to have a good show? I mean, a good card in general, because the main event definitely and the co-main event we're definitely gonna have a good show, right? Or do you think that the UFC could have done better and maybe give us a little bit more candy in terms of the fights that are in the main card, right? So let me know what you think, right? You already know where I stand, so I'd like to know where you stand. Thank you guys for listening, and again, be safe, take care of your family, be safe, and I'll catch you some other time. Don't forget to